Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. There's a few people in the chat already. Uh, yeah, Friday afternoon. What is it? August? I don't know. 11th? Yeah, August 11th. Sorry, I don't know what day it is. And 2:30 Friday afternoons, every second Friday. You join me in my shop here and talk all things wood turning. So. Thank you for joining again. It's a little bit different stream today. We're going to be talking about let's get that on SWAT and some Lathe news. So before we do that, let's take a look and say hi to a few folks. And it's also it's sweltering here in Texas and I guess everywhere. So I have a fan running. Oh, no sound. Okay. Yeah, okay. So Gary said, never mind. He's got sound. Okay. So I was just gonna say, let me know if the fan is getting picked up on my mic. I don't think so, but I can turn it off and sweat for you guys if you want, but I'd prefer to keep it on. So let me know if you hear any fan noise or not. I'd appreciate it. I hear you're fine. John says, okay, good. So while we get people to catch up there, I'm going to catch up. David Perez, thank you. Hi to you and yours. Shelly has just arrived home from shopping, I believe. So good to have you here. Charlie from the UK, good to have you here again, my friend. Thanks for joining. Gary at 99 headed for 107. I think we're not far behind. And Bella Verde, I think, is that near? Is that that's? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, Gary, but I'm guessing that it's east of Austin. I'm not sure. Maybe that's Bastrop I'm thinking of. I don't know. I don't know all my towns in Texas. Paul, thanks for coming here from Tiptree, all the way over there. Ian Coates, another UK fella. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you guys staying up at night, Friday night, and joining me on a Friday night. So that's nice. It's very good to hear and see. Paul saying hi. So Steve, good to have you here. Lincoln, Nebraska. Thanks for coming. Let me scroll down a bit here. My friend Tony, good to see you here. Say hi to Nikki as always. So you got you're on YouTube, so that's why it's only Tony and not Tony and Nikki. So well done. So yeah, the little icon down here that says YouTube, so you can join on YouTube and Facebook up there. You can see the icons. I'm also streaming to a thing called StreamYard On Air, which is how Gary has joined. You see a little duck over there. I can't point to it again. That's StreamYard On Air. So it's another sort of webinar platform. I send the email out, and it's kind of easy. You get it link in the email, so it's easy to find me that way. Michael says hi. Scott Hampton from Hampton Woodturning. It's good to have you here from California. James, White Lake, Michigan. Nice. Our friend Lowell. Good. Still hot here in South Texas. Yeah, it's warm up here too. So, and John says, I hear you fine. Thank you very much, John. Working here, Charlie says. And Lee Beatles, afternoon to you, my friend, in Birmingham, Alabama. Audio is great, Lowell says. So thanks for the confirmation, folks. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's nice to have a fan going in the shop. I do have an AC running, but in this weather, just can't keep up. It's probably sitting around 80 degrees in here. I find, and maybe others do, that air conditioning or AC unit or whatever it is can get about a 20-degree differential. So 100 degrees outside, 80 degrees in here, 90 out there, 70 in here. So I don't know if that's just what I found. So yeah, otherwise the AC just constantly runs and you really can't keep up. So, but I have it set at 76 in here. It's constantly running. So anyway, on we go. So what is today? So today's Friday, of course, and there we go. We're going to take a look at SWAT and my lathe up there. So the one in front of me here, and talk a little bit of what's going on. I think I mentioned it in the description that I am getting a new lathe. So that is the big news. I want to talk to you guys about it, get your opinions, get your thoughts on a few things, and also let you know that this lathe is for sale. So I'll let it go after SWAT. But anybody interested, local pickup or wherever you are, you got to come pick it up. I'm not delivering it. I'm not taking it to SWAT. So I'm picking up a new lathe at SWAT. So anyway, let's see. Steve is here. Yeah, 79 in my shop. Nice, Steve. Yeah, so that's about right. And John Lane, of course, being in Alaska, only 62 degrees. Thanks, John. Appreciate the insight. So, and Scott's evaporative cooler in my shop. Yeah, that's a good way. Keeps it about 15 degrees cooler in the shop than outside. And one thing I like about the air conditioner, which is something I struggled with. I put this in like 6 years ago. And before that, 15 years prior to that, everything rusted. There's always rust building up. This AC unit really pulls the humidity out of the air as well. So rust is 80% gone, 90% gone pretty much. So very nice to have that as well. That's one of the other reasons why I keep it running, even though it's not catching up, is to dehumidify, whatever the word is. Okay. So let's, I've got a few things coming up. So first of all, everybody knows, well, maybe you don't, maybe you're new here. If you are new here, thank you for joining. If you're would like to, I've got a newsletter I send out. Subscribe to that. This is how you reach me: Woodturning Tool Store, phone number, email, all that stuff is all up on the website. So don't hesitate to call or email. I answer probably in a week a dozen or more customer emails, and that is many phone calls. So I love talking to customers. So please do so. Our friend Cindy, who's busy this weekend, she is in during an art show in Colorado, Sculpture in the Park, has a live stream or Zoom session every other week from mine. So since I'm on Friday, next Thursday she's doing a Zoom sharing session. So for those that went to her threading class, there is a follow-up session. But right after that, there's a sharing session. So for those that didn't take the class, come to the second hour and you can share your turnings, learn something, ask questions, all that kind of stuff. So that's always fun. So I'm there co-hosting with that as well. This is kind of leading into SWAT. I kind of jumped the gun here a little bit. So my next live stream 2 weeks from today will be at SWAT, which is in Waco, Texas, suffering through the heat in August, of course, as we always do for SWAT. I intend to do some booth demos as a live stream. Hopefully that works out. It's always a rush, doing those things at a trade show floor, people around. I'm only going to be using my iPad and streaming directly from that. So I did it last year. Excuse me. Last year, I showed a bit about my booth. Mike Mahoney came over to our booth and did some thread chasing for us in the booth. So maybe we'll get something done this time. What I have on a picture up above is what I hope to demonstrate a little bit in the booth, and that is bowl coring here and some hollowing tools over here. So that is the Proform Flexi tool, or the Proform tool, and this is the Max 4 bowl coring. So hopefully I can stream one of those. I don't know if I'll be able to stream both, but that'll be fun. So that's going to be Friday afternoon. It may start earlier than 2:30. It may start at 2. So depending on how the schedule, I haven't really looked. This one's not scheduled yet. Look for that coming up. So, and then Saturday, 2 weeks tomorrow, Saturday the 26th, the Vendor Showcase crew, we're doing a live stream from SWAT as well. So that'll be on Facebook and StreamYard and YouTube, but several beyond my channel, Cindy's channel. It's going to be on Lyle's YouTube channel. It'll be in StreamYard on air, so it'll be hopefully all over the place. We'll have the 5 of us there, myself, Joe Fleming from Airbrushing Wood, Steve Worcester from turningwood.com, I still got John Jordan's banner up there. John passed away in February, but he was part of our crew, so I'm keeping the banner on there for a while. Cindy Drozda will be there in person, and myself and Lyle. So in person is going to be at the trade show. It's going to be Airbrushing Wood, Cindy Drozda, Woodturning Tool Store, Lyle Jameson Woodturning. Lyle will actually be at home, and his stepson, Mike OB, will be in the booth. So it'll be a lot of fun. So Steve Worcester and Lyle will join from their shops at home, and the rest of us will be down in Waco. It should be a lot of fun, if not chaos, one or the other. So look for that. It should be good. So what else do I have? So at the show, I put this in. I didn't really think about how I was going to explain this. The show special we do is for every $100 spent, you get a $10 gift card. It's like 10% off, basically. The gift cards will be for those people at the show, and so I just want to show this and remind myself to talk about that. So I think that's about it. So let me talk a little bit about SWAT in general, and where am I going to do that here? And I think I just got to check if I have any other images. I should have done this before. Yeah. So let me talk about SWAT in general. We'll do that first, and then we'll. Yeah. So for those that don't know, SWAT is Southwest Association of Turners. On the banner beside me here, it's been going for 32 years, 31, I guess. This is 31, I think. Maybe 32, and it's the second largest symposium, at least in the U.S. and maybe in the world. Who knows? I don't know. But it's been in Waco for the last 6 years, 7 years straight. Before that, maybe longer. They kind of traded between Waco and Wichita Falls. I think it's been it's probably been about 8 years since it's been 9 years since it's been Wichita Falls. But it's been in Waco ever since, and it's run by the Southwest Association of Turners. Is a sort of a council, if you will, or the directors of SWAT are all members of, I think, 30 different clubs across Texas, Louisiana. I think we even got Arkansas Club, and Oklahoma. And I don't know if there's any out of New Mexico. I'm not sure. So in that area, 30 clubs come together, help run this thing. It's a lot of fun. It's been going for a long time. It's a great trade show, great symposium. Same idea as AW sort of thing. You got demonstrations to watch and view world-class turners, as well as a lot of regional turners. It's nice to see the regional turners because you kind of get an idea of, what the Southwest kind of holds in terms of turners. But some of the regionals are actually out of state and out of the area, but still great to see a lot of activity from people. In fact, Neil Brand, who I talked with last week, is one of those regional turners, and he'll be there turning. So not last week, 2 weeks ago. So. And so good point, Steve. I forgot to mention that. In my email about just found out yesterday, pre-order delivery is also 10% off. No, only if you spend over the $100, then you'll get the $10 gift card. So the reason for that is. The pre-ordering is there's limited stock on a few things. In fact, our friend Chuck Broder, who sometimes joins here, got the last thread chaser. And so I'm out of stock of thread chasers. At least there's 16 TPI. I still have some 12 TPI thread chasers. So those are available. But so that was the reason for pre-ordering. So I'm running low on a few things. And if you are dying to get that particular tool, pre-order and we'll have it there waiting for you in a bag, and we'll hold on to it for the weekend until you pick it up. So that was the reason there. So thanks for bringing that to my attention, Steve. But no, we haven't done a 10% off for pre-orders or across the board for a show yet. We'll obviously be doing some of that, in the fall for Christmas shopping and all that stuff. But have not. This is the gift card thing works for us because really what I want to do is encourage you to come back, obviously, as a repeat customer, but trying to give you the best deal I can at this point. So let's talk a bit about SWAT structure. So first of all, it's in a convention center. It's very friendly, easy to get to. Waco's a small town. Hotels are a lot cheaper. The convention center down there is a reasonable price for what they put on. I forget exactly, and maybe Steve or somebody else can throw in what the registration fees are. I'm not quite sure, but I think it's about half, maybe a little more than half of what AEW charges for registration. From a vendor perspective, it's definitely less than half. So for that reason, it's an affordable show to go to. Plus, they feed you lunch the Friday, Saturday, and I think Sunday too. I'm not sure. So there is some off-site food options and stuff like that, obviously. Hotel, their host hotel is right there. Another hotel across the street. Plenty of cheaper hotels up the highway. That's how I went years ago. So it's an affordable place to get to. Getting into Waco is maybe a little bit more difficult for some, but it's for me. It's about a 2.5-hour drive. Probably the same for Steve, and so it's local. That's the way I look at it. That's local in Texas. So let's see. Beyond that, what else? They have a nice banquet. I think Saturday night. And then the raffle drawing Sunday at noon is when the symposium ends. They have all the vendor giveaways, and then I think they usually have a lathe or something to give away at the end. So it's always a lot of fun, great camaraderie. A lot of people I know go there. Oh, thanks, Tony. Tony says registration is now $275. Yeah, and I think it was a lot less before August 1, I think was the cutoff date. So, but still, that's for the full weekend, right, Tony? I think you can go down for a day pass. Plus, the trade show is free. So if you walk in off the street, just go down for the day or whatever. You can walk up the stairs and see all the trade show booths for free. It's what costs you is getting into the demos. So that's always nice. Come and visit. Even we have a lot of that. People just walking through. So if you got questions about SWAT, haven't been before, want some ideas what to expect, throw those comments in the chat, and we'll try and Steve says lunch is provided for Sunday as well. Thank you. I wasn't 100% sure. I thought it was. I'm always busy packing up and stuff, so I don't know that I remember a lot of those weekends. It's kind of a blur. So it's always great to catch up with friends and stuff there. So we're looking forward to it again. I will say, we're going to be. I think everybody should be, aware that there have been some COVID cases and stuff like that. So, if you're wearing a mask, nobody's going to shun you. So feel free. We'll try and have some hand sanitizer and stuff at our booth and try and wipe down tools and stuff. Try and mitigate some of that. But I just want everybody to be kind of use your own judgment how you feel about it and be safe. So let's talk about Lathe. Okay, so Tony is coming up. Pre-register is 100 less. That's for all days. 1 day passes are 150. Tony, you're the man. Thank you. Appreciate the help. So I probably should have had that ready ahead of time, but I did not. Let's see. I am going to see. I'm going to disappear for a second and kind of move to the side. It's a little overexposed, but not too bad. This is just sort of a wide shot. It's a mobile camera, but giving a shot of my, that's beeping. That probably needs a battery. Giving a shot of my lathe, the Powermatic 3520. This is the B model. and the B model had more of a protrusion over here on the head. It moved the bolt pulley from one, the bolt change hole from one side to the other, and the RPM and the switch moved around from the A model to the B model. Now, the C model looks more modern, rounder lines and stuff, but basically the A, B, and C model of the 3520 are essentially the same sort of bed, same sort of tailstock, same sort of banjo, same sort of setup. So 35 means I've got, when that's at the end and headstock's at the end, I can get 35 inches between centers. And the 20 means it's 10 inches between here and the bedway, and here being the spindle center and the bedway. So that gives me a 20-inch piece of wood that I can spin around. So whether that's underneath the banjo, I don't know. That's going to be different. So if we measure that, that is about 8 inches. So you lose a couple inches under the banjo. But that's why they put the banjo tool post offset up this side of the banjo. So I like that design where the post is offset from the banjo. And if we look overhead, yeah, that's going to show it. So you can see that if I have the tool post here, I'm missing the banjo. So that is a nice design on this kind of banjo. So what I don't like is just the single pinch point on the banjo. It's not a clamp, so to speak. And I guess I could zoom in a little bit on that. So other things to note about the banjo that I do like is that I can move this from this hole to this hole to a hole over here. So I can move that any way I want. The other thing is that, and most banjos operate this way, you can lock it this way or this way. It's a simple cam shaft underneath there, and so either way will work. So the other unique thing about this banjo is it's got slots in here, T-slots, and I wonder if yeah, that kind of shows a little bit right there. So that's a T-slot running down the whole side. It's also on the other side, but it stops here because this part's in the way. So I've got T-slots along this whole length here. And what is that for? Well, I bought an accessory that everybody asks me about every time they see it in a demo. I'm going to put my tool rest out of the way. And I'll bring it out over here. It's this dust hood. So this dust hood is a flap up here that kind of goes out. There's the hole, so it goes in around this center post and into a 4-inch dust hose back here. This center post is what goes right through the middle, so I can loosen these two knobs. Actually, not that one, these two back here, and raise this up to the top of the post, down to the bottom. That might be better shown over here, up to the top and bottom. Move that around, kind of see. So that goes, allows you to get the height on this where it sits, and these other two knobs make this flop or not, and so I can tighten that up and have that stand. If I get that tight, up out of the way, or down, or stay anywhere I want. So, and on the base of this guy is and I'll switch back over here, is a flat bracket. It's basically a flange mount, and maybe I'll take this right off. So we got a flanged bracket, this pipe onto a L bracket, and we've got some T-slots here and some more spring clamp twist clamps here. So what does that do? That slides right onto those T-track. there, and so I can position this post anywhere I want along there, and I can tighten it up, loosen it off. So that is what that is for. So from a side view, you've got this post you can move around in your banjo. And so when I stick this back on, tighten that back up. When I am turning, I've got my turning object and my dust collection right there, and it's going to stick with me wherever I put the banjo. So there are some times when it gets in the way, especially right here at the headstock. Move down this way a little bit. It's going to get bumped up against there. So, but you can easily turn this, move this, and twist your banjo and twist this head, whichever way you want to go. So it is one of the most asked about accessories on this lathe that I've encountered. I got that thing when I bought the lathe. I bought this lathe in 2007, so that's 16 years ago. And I don't know. You can't find these anymore. They hadn't been sold. I think a couple of years after that. I think they stopped selling them. Great accessory, but I think the machining in the banjo was just they're trying to cut costs or something. So, but yeah, something like that would work if you have the wherewithal. Even I think a heavy magnet on this guy with a dust hood or just a hose would be fine as well. So let's see. So yeah, 16 years ago. All the other accessories that I've got with this lathe. Let's see, there is faceplate, live center, dead center or drive center, and then the replicating pin and drive. And those things go in these brackets. These brackets go on, I don't know what's the best way for me to show. On here. So I've never used this guy, but you can see these two bolts here. There's two more over here. I've got another one of these that has the right bolt pattern for this side. This one's for this side near the headstock. And then another one here, there. And basically, these two guys would go into these holes. I'll just show this one here. This one is the headstock one. It's got these indents in it, and this has a plunger pin with a pin in there. So if I pull that pin, drop that in, it'll lock into that and won't turn. So that's the drive side. That goes on this side, back of the headstock here. And then the other side will go on here. And it's for replicating spindles. So you hold your spindle pattern up there, you turn what you're turning, and you can replicate it. Use your drop notches if you want to use those and that kind of stuff. So I never used this, so I took these brackets off pretty quickly. And but I kept them around. So anybody out there use those? Let me know, because that's what they're for. These are not, by the way, these are not Morse tapered. These are just straight shafted. These ones have a thing in it, and this is a flat for, the other one has a clamp on it, so you can clamp it down. So that's the accessories, the drive center, live center, faceplate, the brackets, and the spindle pattern holders. Oh, and there's a big cage that you can put on this. It's in the shed. I haven't even unwrapped it from when I bought it 16 years ago. So Let's see. Scott says Cindy Drozda has said this will be her last symposium where she'll be demonstrating. Yeah, she did say that. I think in passing, I don't know whether that's true or not, but yeah, it's a lot of work being a demonstrator. Sort of. Oops, wrong way. Just get my belly out of the shot. Sort of taking all your tools and going down, doing that work, and plus she has a booth, so it's a tough thing for her to kind of demonstrate and do booth work at the same time. So it's all about economics, what makes you money, and stuff like that. So yeah, keep giving her online IRDs. JPN Company, hello, good to have you here. John is asking, have you had any problems with your push-pull switch? I have the same model and about 6 or 7 years old, but I just replaced the on-off switch for the third time. No, I have not. So on there twice. Let me get it off there. So I'm gonna bear with the shakiness of this camera because this is a handheld. Sorry about that, folks. Trying to be as steady as I can. So this is the switch John is talking about. Let me just fix my handle hold here on this camera. And no, so there's the variable speed switch here and push-pull button here. And that gets the spindle going. And that gets up to 3,255 RPM. I've got all my little magnets on my pencil, my utility knife. This is the pulley drawer. So if we look at the pulley, it says low 50 to 1200. That's on this side. High is on this side, and that's 125 to 3200. So I'm on the high side right now. So this is how you change it. And John's had to go in and change this switch off in there, and I wonder. I do have a light. Sorry, folks. Here's the rest of the shop as I swing my hand around. There's the green screen. Back to the lathe. Trying to operate camera at the same time. Not very easy. All right, so got myself a little light here. So there's the light switch, or the power switch back in there. So John had to replace that guy a couple times. I have not. And so I don't know. I pulled it off once, pulled all the guts out, because what I did have is up in there on that shaft. I can get up in there. There's the main shaft. Back behind this RPM meter is a place where the this lock knob. So if I turn the spindle there, it's locked in. So that's the spindle lock. That locks into a block that's running in the shaft that has a slot in it. That came loose, so my spindle lock wasn't loose. So I had to pull all this out, pull that out, access that little pulley block, and tighten up the set screw on it to get to lock again. One of the cheats I've done, and this is just a ruler hanging on a magnet, is in order to keep that spindle lock down, I took out the bottom screw. I'm not quite sure where it is now, so whoever buys it's going to be have one loose screw. I loosened this top one, and when you push it down, you just swing that bracket over, and that locks it for you. So and then you just push that back, and it's unlocked. So that was a nice cheat somebody told me about years ago. So there's the lock. Swing that over, and unlocked. So if I just barely turn it on, I get 162. I don't know how I get 125. There we go. 129. That's about as low as I can go. Yeah. Yeah, that's as low as it goes on high pulley. low pulley will go down to 50. So, and I 99% of the time I'm on the high speed. I don't change the pulley very often. Forward and reverse switch here. Whoops, out of frame, right there. The motor is sticking out the back. We've got a clamp lock here. Loosen that, and that will raise your motor up and down. Let me back up a little bit. That'll raise your motor up and down, and that's how you tighten the pulleys, so, or loosen the pulleys. You can see the slack there. It's hard to see, it's not very light in there. Wonder if I can do a single-handed maneuver. Sorry, folks. There we go. So if I lift up this bracket, that loosens the pulley, and then you lock it off. Hand wheel is back here, so it's underneath my keyboard tray, so it's a little hard to get at for me right now. Motor, obviously. Down here is the accessory tray. It's bolted onto the side, so I've got magnets here hanging on Allen keys. The knockout bar, that's another accessory. In fact, I might keep this knockout bar. This one is nice, and I wonder if I can zoom out a little bit. So this knockout bar has this plunger action, gives you some momentum when knocking things out. And then you got the big Powermatic wrench back there, the yellow wrench. The other accessory that comes with it are these little guys. This is your indexing lock. So don't buy a Powermatic for indexing. It's horrible. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 holes. And in there, the way they want you to index on a B model is screw that guy in there until you get down to the depth, lock it off, and then it locks off. I'm not going to go all the way. This one I think will give you 12 holes. You can do obviously 6. I can't remember. There's in the manual you have to read going to A, B, C, or D hole for 14, 16, 32, 48, 60, etc. It's just ridiculous. So I still keep it though. 3/8 by 16 is the thread on that. The other one is a little locking wire, and that is for the steady rest. Turn that away. It's got a little hollow in there, so when you get it, you can put it all the way through, and that locks this, so you can add on accessories, which I keep in here. Here's the cone point that comes with it, so now you can screw that on. So that's what that is for, to lock your live center. So this door in the tool rest is kind of nice. Keep centers and stuff like that for the tool rest, and chalk and wax and stuff. So that's that. So that's that accessory. And that's got a little hole right down there. Yeah. What else? The feet are there, obviously. I've got them on 2x4s, two 2x4s, raised up off the floor. So my spindle height right here is about 48 inches. And my new lathe, which is, I don't know if I told you, it's going to be an American Beauty. It can get up to 49. So I'll raise it up all the way up to 49 and have this just slightly higher. So that's the way I like it. I'm 6'2", so it's hard when you're bending over so much. I'll put this light down. When you're bending over so much and stuff like that. So I'm going to put this camera back down over there, and we'll take a few measurements, and we'll look at the American Beauty and what I am going to like and dislike about it. Let me switch here. Let's do this camera. I can kind of get an overview of the shop. All right. And zoom in just a little bit on that one. Yeah, it's pretty good. All right. So I didn't do this earlier. I should have done that. So we'll catch up on questions. So John, I guess I don't know the answer to your question. I have not changed this switch out at all. Not sure what's going on. Charlie said, "Now that's a good idea." I'm not sure what that is, but thank you. I'm going to add a remote switch because my push-pull switch keeps wearing out. I do a lot. I do use it a lot, and Powermatic's still covering under warranty. Okay, good. I'm glad they're still covering it. When the lathe is slowed down, does it hurt the electronics to reverse the speed before it stops? No. Well, I guess in my experience, low, which is 16 years with this lathe, I basically can pull it on, have it running, I'll throw it into reverse, and I'll just come back the other way, throw it into forward. So from this tailstock view, it's me just flicking the reverse forward switch. That's going forward, that's going reverse now. So I haven't had a problem with doing that. You know, your mileage might vary. Maybe different lathes are different. I've never replaced the VFD, which is the variable frequency drive back here. So have I been lucky? Perhaps. I don't know. So it's a good question. Charlie says you're a dust collector. Yeah, it is a good idea. I do like it. So let me go back to this shot, and I'm going to just take some quick measurements. So the lathe bed is 50.25 inches, and so if we, oh yeah, I was going to do this. Let me share, screen share. Window. Now Chrome tab. Share. And add that to the stream. All right, so here's the robust site. Actually, that's not the early one I wanted, but this is the American Beauty website, turnrobust.com, and then click on the American Beauty. Let me actually pick another one, because what I wanted to pick was the document 2, I think. Yeah, this is the one. So this is the, oh, no, you're not seeing that yet. 1 second, getting there. All right, so this is the spec sheet of the American Beauty, and I think I'm going to have to pull that spec sheet over to another screen so I can see it at the same time. So its footprint of the standard base is 48.6. So it's about the same as this lathe here. So if we, I wonder, let's do this one here. And let me pump this up a little bit. You guys can see that a bit. And so let's see. Now let's go that one. Yeah, so this bed length is 50, so it's about a little bit shorter. But what I'm also getting is that tailstock swing away, which is adds on. As you can see, oops, here. I don't know if you can see that. You can't see that, I don't think. Not showing my mouse. It adds 6 inches. So I will be actually a little bit longer than I am today. 48.6 plus 6 is 54. So we'll be 4 inches longer than I am now. So that's all right. The big thing that I'm going to have a problem with, I think, is my footprint. So if I go overhead and zoom all the way, wrong way, Todd, all the way out, is my distance between my table behind there, that's a big table back there, and my footprint of the legs. Right now, these are about 2 feet long, 24 inches. So I've got 24 inches, which is right there where my thumb is, for my feet, which if I do that over here, you can kind of see is about there. So the American Beauty spread of the feet is quite a bit wider. It's 30 inches. So 6 inches doesn't sound like a lot, but what it's going to do is if I leave that table back there where it's at, that means my lathe has to come this way 3 inches. So which eats in, that's, the width of the bedway. So instead of there, it's going to be here and forward. That's going to be something to have to live with. I'm not quite sure. So I guess overall, don't get me wrong. Where am I at? I'm going to show. I'm excited about getting this American Beauty. Don't get me wrong, but I got to say, after 16 years with this lathe, I'm not, I'm apprehensive, right? I'm kind of a little nervous because I'm so used to this lathe and its footprint and where it's been and how to use it that, changing tools, it's like picking up a brand new gouge that you've never used before. It's going to take you a little while, get used to it. So let's see. John says the 18-inch bed extension for that lathe is really handy. Allows you to push the sail stock out of the way of hollowing a bowl without having to take it off. Yes, it would be. So that's a good point. If I turn myself off, get rid of that. If I go here, you can see on the end I've got my air hose hanging here. Let me move that off. Hang over there. There are 3 holes here, 1, 2, and 3. I've got this one here. This is actually one of the bolts for that bracket back there. This is a magnet sticker. I'll put that down there. So 3 holes to mount the bed extension. This other hole here is for storing this guy. This guy is, I'll show that here. Zoom in. This is just a little 3/8 by 16 stud with a big top on it. And it goes in the, I wonder if can I reach there? I'm not quite sure I'm going to be able to reach. Oops. I come out. Just barely. So here's my light. Get that out of the way. If we look down the bedway here, there's a hole in the top here, not in the end, but in the top. If I put that in the top, that prevents my tailstock from sliding out. It gets stuck. It stops there, and it won't fall off. So that's what that little lock is for. Many lathes have those. Well, what I like about this one, everything's 3/8 by 16. They've got a little hole on the end here to store it. So this bolt I put in this headstock bracket. Here's the bolt 1 down here. You can't really see it, but it's under there. And bolt 2 for that replicator bracket. I put one of these light. You can clamp a light on there. It's one of those sockets for one of those light mounts. This is really where this guy goes. Oops, wrong thing, Todd. wrong way. There it is. So that bolt goes in that hole to hold that thing. This is all cast iron. So I'm going to put this back in the temporary holding location. Actually, it goes in the bottom one. I use it for hanging my hose on. I'll put my light stud back in there. Haven't used that light for a long time. And there you go. David has a comment. Previous to my purchasing my current American Beauty, I owned 4 other lathes. The American Beauty is the best lathe I have ever turned on. I think you'll be happy after adjusting to it. Yeah, I don't doubt it one bit. So I think you're right. I think it's just a matter of, getting over myself and knowing that I'm going to have an American Beauty. It's just, things, you kind of get used to things. So, I've got everything for this old lathe that is going to get sold. So if there's anybody in the area that is looking for a used, well-loved 3520B, reach out. I haven't looked at used pricing yet, so I'm not quite sure. Your thoughts there would help if you have ideas, what you think it might be worth. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Shoot me an email afterwards, either way, and we can certainly take those opinions on board and help me along this way of getting this new lathe. Glenn, I got the swing away that mounts on the end. Yeah, nice, Glenn. Good to have you here, by the way. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. And that's what I'm getting as well, the swing away. So let me finish. I think I finished with the, let me see, I showed everything on here that I wanted to. Yeah, so there's the footprint, 30 inches. And oh, there we go, scroll. Height, tilt-away requires 5 or 6 inches of wall clearance. That's fine for me. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. So it should be good. Let's see. Blake says, I added a switch below the tailstock area so I can get it at it quick and easy when hollowing. Yeah, the other thing I'm going to miss about this is this being cast iron. So there are a few things where I've, like a magnetic bed, the stainless steel ways of the American Beauty are not magnetic, but the whole truss system and bedway support system is all magnetic. So their controller is magnetic, and you can move it from the headstock down here. So that I'm really looking forward to, because yeah, when I'm out here, let's see, let's go tailstock view. When I'm back here, turning on this end, reaching over, and I got something. Maybe 7 would be better. When I got something swinging out here and I'm back here, having to reach around to push that off is just a bit of a pain. So it would have been nice to build a remote onto this. I just never got around to it and have it magnetized over here somewhere. I'm looking forward to that, but I'm going to miss. I'm not going to miss cleaning these. Not that I, there's maintenance on everything, but I will miss the magnetization. I do use a ton of magnets, as you can tell, all over the place. These are all magnets. My magnet there, yeah. So even this guy, my trackpad for my mouse, which sits on there, is sitting on a fairly strong rare earth magnet that's just sitting on a round top here, but it slams down pretty good. And I got magnets on top that hit the right magnets on this Apple trackpad. So that just sits up there. So magnets everywhere. Magnets over here holding hex keys, holding hones and stuff. So yeah. Lots of magnets. Let's see. What else? I guess that's about it. I got dust collection coming along here on the back into that hood. The table behind me holds all the tech and stuff, since I do remote demos and stuff. Yeah. Oh, somebody. Oh, is it on there? I am seeing. Okay, so this is another thing I'll have to get used to, is the locking lever here for the Powermatic. I think for the robust, it's back here, and I'm not sure what the advantage is of having it back there versus here. Not quite sure. And I will say that this locking knob, we go to overhead. I'll bring this down and zoom out a little bit. Go down here. Let me get this guy out of the way. So yeah, locking knob on the side versus back here. I think I like this better. I'm going to be used to this better. This locking knob for the quill, which I really don't use a lot. Being on top, it sometimes gets in the way of things. So having it back there on the robust, I think, is nice. So that'll be good. A robust live center, I guess, will be fine. This is the Powermatic one. The difference with the robust is this part doesn't turn on the Jet Powermatic. I don't know if the one-way is this way. Only the inside turns, right? So this stays stationary as this turns. The robust, this whole cover turns. So I'm not sure how that's going to be different for me. It'll be, it'll be different. So that's interesting. What other changes? I can't remember what the banjo looks like. The banjo looks like it has the hole right in the center of the banjo. Brent, he's got a video on why he does that. There's some explanation that he talked about. I can't remember. Take that off for a second. Sorry about that. But the having this banjo tool arrest post centered on the banjo, and then he also talked, there's some design element with his banjo where when you're way out like this, there's a lot of flex, or could be flex, and I forget what he said, how his design of a banjo mitigates that. So I can't remember. That you can do this both ways is nice. I think the clamp lever for the tool post can go either side, but it's an actual clamp, which is not just a set screw, if you will, or a grub screw. So power, the locking spindle lock is better on the robust. I've got I think it's indexing, of course. Indexing is going to be a nice thing inside the headstock. I lost my train of thought. That's my trackpad holder again. So that's about a 30-pound pull magnet that holds that guy. So it's very loud. Let's see, where is that other one? Does that tell me? I was thinking about the indexing wheel. 48 position. So, and I believe it's in the headstock case. You have to open up the little flap and twist a little dually thing. Not sure. So I was thinking of giving, so here's whoops, wrong one. Here's a question for you, and I'll look at the questions here in a second. I've got a vacuum chuck, but my vacuum goes out into doesn't vacuum the spindle, it vacuums the chuck. So I don't need an adapter on the end of this lathe for a vacuum chuck, but it does limit you in making vacuum chucks. That's the only thing. So I'm thinking about getting a vacuum adapter and changing my vacuum pump system to use that. So that may be something I'll talk with Brent at SWAT. Let's see. Trevor Howard. I have a Jet 3520B version with the bed extension that has a remote. Okay. Remote start stop. Our club has the same lathe, and I have borrowed the bed extension and fitted it to the headstock end when I have some long jaw. Oh yeah, so that would be 18 inches on both ends. So yeah, that would be 35. You'd probably get the full 18, so you can probably add another 2 feet on that, I suppose, by putting. I should have mentioned that those 3 holes that are on the end here, this hole, this hole, and this hole are repeated on the headstock side. So you can put that 18-inch bed extension on both ends. If you had 2 of them like Paul does or can get a hold of, then yeah, you could stretch out to probably 6 feet total. So you could probably do 4, maybe just over 4 feet between centers. Nice, Paul. All right. Powermatic has a really nice movable remote switch you can add to the 3520. Good to know, John. Yeah, I don't think I'll do that now because the robust will solve that problem. The most expensive way to solve that problem is buying a different lathe. That's where I'm at. So anyway, that's my journey or story with this Powermatic, and I do really like the flat headstock. I pile stuff here up here all the time, and as you can see, I've got my Stream Deck up here. I've got a small monitor mounted here. This small monitor is, and I wonder if I can do this shot and just raise this camera up a little bit. So my Stream Deck just sits on top of this guy. I drilled a 1/4-inch hole in the back here, tapped it, and so I've got this little camera mount mounted on there. And so I tend to pile up my cutters, my Allen wrenches that I'm using currently. Maybe I might pull a chuck over, lay it up there just to kind of size it with calipers and get it ready to put on. So I do use this top quite a bit, and that's something else I'm going to miss. So I may be building something that turns that round top into I know there's a bit of a flat behind it, but I want to use the whole space. Of course, that little indexing cover might be in the way. We'll have to work around it and see how it works. So yeah, things you gotta think about and miss and stuff. Anyway, I have this has really been a ramble session, and I apologize. Really no turning today, but we have one other thing to talk about. So there's Cindy stuff next week. She's doing a sharing session. Join that. My SWAT booth demo is 2 weeks from today. Probably starting at 2, not 2:30. So watch out for that. Haven't booked that yet. Vendor showcase on Saturday the 26th. We're doing a live stream from the SWAT symposium. That's at 10:30 a.m. Central Time for Paul and Ian and folks overseas. At 6 hours at 6:30, just after dinner time your side. Excuse me. So tune in. You get a flavor for what SWAT is like, at least what chaos we show you, and stuff like that. So that should be fun. The gift card. This is the other thing I wanted to talk about. Is September 15th to the 17th is the Rocky Mountain Woodturner Symposium in Loveland, Colorado. I will be there, and I should have done a darker background. It's all white background, so I'm really looking like a ghost back here. But I will be there as a demonstrator. It's really a hands-on class, so I'm doing one class there Friday afternoon, And so there's some great international demonstrators and local demonstrators, and then a bunch of regional demonstrators. It's a great little show up in Loveland, Colorado. Come up and visit, come see us, and look forward to that one. So it's just a few weeks after SWAT, which is why it's a busy time of year. Scott says 10:30 is the same time as my demo at SWAT. Yeah, it's too bad. We had to do it in the morning because Cindy is demonstrating both Friday afternoon and Saturday afternoon, both sessions. So that's why we made it a morning session. So sorry we couldn't accommodate you, Scott. Good luck with your demo, though. Have fun. Yeah, so that I think is going to be it for what I kind of want to talk about. SWAT, this lathe. So Brent from Robust Tools is bringing my lathe down to SWAT. That's what I'll be in the booth with demonstrating. So these two tools I'll have to set up and use for the first time on my Powermatic. Almost said 3520. On my American Beauty. I even screwed up my screw up. So on my Robust American Beauty, it will be the first time I use it as that SWAT. So, and Brent is kind enough to haul it down for me and actually haul it back up here to my shop on his way out Sunday. They'll drop in, have a nice cold water, iced tea, whatever it is, help me load my lathe in and be on their way. So we can fill them with a sandwich or something on the way. So if you are interested in purchasing a Robust lathe or anything, let me know. I am a dealer now. I haven't got it on my website yet. That's work I have to do over the next couple of weeks. And talk to Brent. Ask me at my booth how it's going, and I'll give you some feedback. That'll probably be confused, but that's just the way it goes. So. But other than that, like I said, if you got any questions, any comments, anybody looking for a lathe, 3520B, let me know. And otherwise, y'all have a great weekend. Be safe and be kind. And we'll see you the next one. Bye, all.